Let's dive right into this explainer, because today we are breaking down a case study of an extraterrestrial infiltration that is just absolutely terrifying. And listen, this wasn't your typical Hollywood invasion, with massive spaceships hovering over global capitals or lasers blowing up monuments. No, this infiltration started so quietly. It happened insidiously, right inside a completely ordinary suburban home. We're going to analyze the anatomy of this unseen connection through the first-hand account of Daniel Copeland, a guy who literally watched his entire reality unravel right in front of him.
So picture this. You wake up in the dead of night. The digital clock on your nightstand glows that indifferent green, 3:17 a.m. You roll over, look across the bed, and find your spouse bathed in this strange, highly focused beam of light. I mean, what do you even do? Because that is exactly how Daniel's domestic nightmare kicked off. He woke up to find his wife Sarah intensely staring at this sleek metallic device strapped to her wrist. There were no buttons on it, no seams, just a smooth, almost organic curve, with these microscopic, intricate symbols shifting around like alien circuitry right beneath the surface.
And that brings us to Phase 1, the midnight discovery. What's really wild to think about here is this stark contrast in Sarah. The Sarah that Daniel knew was this warm graphic designer. Her life was totally normal, completely wrapped up in everyday routines, picking out fonts, working with colors. But this new Sarah, she was becoming what we'll call the conduit. She suddenly had this unnatural, ethereal grace about her. Her gaze was completely distant, like she was tuned into a radio frequency that literally no one else in the room could hear. And physically, she started wearing these heavy, long sleeves indoors. It was a very deliberate effort to hide her wrist and that bizarre device attached to it.
But it wasn't just Sarah changing, right? The physical environment of their house actually started warping too, moving through these escalating stages of anomalies. During the first week, it was minor, just faint, unexplained metallic clinks coming from an empty attic. But by weeks 2 and 3, it graduated into these persistent low-frequency hums, vibrating right through the floorboards late at night. The house itself started feeling like a living, breathing participant in this massive cosmic secret.
Moving right along to Phase 2, decoding the cosmic map. So Daniel does some snooping, and I mean, who wouldn't at this point? While Sarah is out, he finds the device hidden away in an ornate wooden box, sitting right next to this brittle piece of parchment covered in fractal-like alien symbols. But the true scale of the horror doesn't hit him until a bit later. He comes home early and actually catches Sarah in the act. She's sitting cross-legged on the floor, and she's using the device to project this massive, three-dimensional holographic cosmic map. It looks like a swirling nebula of light and shadow, and she's not just watching it like a movie, she's silently mouthing words. And as she does, these tiny luminous points inside the nebula actually shift and change their trajectories. She is literally manipulating distant cosmic events right from her living room floor.
Which catapults us into Phase 3, enter the architect.
Daniel quickly realizes he is way out of his depth, so he brings in his friend Jeff Morgan, who happens to be a super logical high school science teacher. Secretly, they test the device by placing that weird alien parchment on top of it as a catalyst. Well, turning it on projects this horrifying entity that we're going to call the architect. It's an ancient, non-corporeal intelligence. It has no— Actually, scratch that. It doesn't even have a physical body. It's just a fluid, pulsating core of iridescent light with whip-like tendrils of pure energy. And the scariest part? As Daniel watches, the thing instantly self-reproduces. It just buds off a perfect miniature replica of itself that floats right off into the void.
But here's the thing about observing extraterrestrial intelligence. They observe you right back. The architect immediately senses Daniel's interference. Daniel actually feels this cold, alien presence brush up against his mind. Just this pure, invasive comprehension. The entity categorizes Daniel with a single terrifying concept. It labels him a dissonance. Basically, he is unauthorized human interference. The alien knows he is there, and it is definitely not happy about it.
Then, the stakes escalate so violently. The architect starts using the house itself as a physical conduit to manifest and attack them. The entire house groans. These heavy rhythmic thumps start battering the front door, sounding like something massive is just trying to smash its way in. The wallpaper in Daniel's study actually begins to ripple and bulge inwards, and glowing alien script starts pulsing right through the plaster. The invasion isn't unseen anymore. It is literally tearing through the walls of their home.
This brings us to a very desperate Phase 4, severing the connection.
In the middle of this completely chaotic mental and physical assault, Jeff's scientific background kicks in. He intuitively figures out that the parchment isn't just some language you read. It's an active firewall program meant to be executed. He recognizes the sequence, grabs the device, and starts frantically inputting the corresponding symbols from the parchment. Amazingly, the device responds. The light shifts to a bright emerald green, and it emits this disruptive counterfrequency that momentarily repels the entity and pushes the physical assault back.
They think they've bought themselves some time, but their relief is shattered instantly. The front door clicks open, and Sarah walks in. Except it isn't Sarah anymore. Her eyes are blazing with that exact same emerald green light. The architect has fully possessed her. It uses her own vocal cords to deliver this chilling, robotic warning. Dissonance. Interference detected. The host has been informed. The connection is aware. You are a threat.
Right then, Daniel realizes that intellectual countermeasures just aren't going to work fast enough. The only way to save his wife from becoming a permanent puppet for this thing is brute physical force. So he lunges at Sarah, violently rips the humming device right off her arm, which lets out this agonizing alien shriek from the entity inside, and he just smashes it with all his might against his heavy wooden desk. With a deafening crack, the device shatters into pieces, and instantly, that oppressive presence vanishes.
And that leads us to the terrifying aftermath. Phase 5, the unseen invasion, continues. When Sarah finally regains consciousness, she has this massive, terrifying gap in her memory. And the truth behind how she got the device is chilling. She remembers it just being a personal health monitor she picked up at the mall. It gave her this false sense of peace and wellness, all while it was systematically and quietly turning her mind into a cosmic bridge without her even having a clue. It was literally the ultimate Trojan horse, perfectly disguised as mundane consumer tech.
Desperate for answers, Daniel, Sarah, and Jeff rush over to the local mall to find the store where she bought it. She called the place the Cosmic Curio. But when they get there, they find a completely empty space. No shelves, no tech, no inventory. There's just a crooked for-lease sign hanging in a dusty window. It was a phantom storefront. It popped up just long enough to plant its deadly seed before vanishing, like it had never even existed in the first place.
Which leaves us with a deeply unsettling thought to chew on. Yes, the immediate conduit was destroyed. Daniel saved his wife, which is great. But the infiltration method is clear now, and that alien intelligence is absolutely still out there. This was just one failed attempt. So take a look around you next time you're out. Who is currently wearing the next alien health monitor, and where exactly will the architect open its next storefront?